Hi guys, and welcome to this week's Lyrical Breakdown with me, your lady friend Bonnie. I'm doing great. I hope you are too. So let's just jump right on into this. So this week I am doing my own picking for songs to break down, and I decided to go back south, back to Texas, and visit the Geto Boys and check out their song G Code. And this came off of their album The Foundation, which came out January 25th, 2005. And some familiar people that, you or me or people who have been with this channel for a while or this show, whatever. We've seen a few of these people. We have checked out Willie D before. We've checked out, I know, a Scarface album on a Classic Quest. And Bushwick Bill, who is the third member, or was the third member. He just recently passed away, unfortunately, on June 9th, 2019. So that's a little bit sad, I guess. I mean, yes, it's sad. So we're just revisiting Texas again and checking out that kind of sound. And so I'm excited. So for those who are new here, I am not an expert or anything like that. I'm just breaking down the lyrics to these songs, and I'm giving my best interpretation with a few little antidotes in there. But yeah, that's pretty much what's going on, and I'm not going to play the full song because of copyright issues. Let's give it a little bit of a listen, and we can jump right on into it.
We don't talk to bodies, we don't make a peace bond, we ain't trusted in the judicial system, we shoot.
Okay, so it starts off with some ad-libs kind of at first, and it's sort of, I'll tell you what it's sort of like. So man, motherfuckers just want to follow a blank around. Dude, that's real some shit though. Fuck these feds. Redneck, racist motherfuckers. Man. So they're clearly sick of dealing with cops, and it feels like that the police are following them, and maybe not really, maybe, but yes, other black people around, mostly just because they're racist, country hicks, with police officers kind of power tripping. Again, we're putting on our southern caps, things are, I guess, a little bit different in the South. I haven't actually been there, but I would like to go at some point. It does, look very nice. And I've met some people from there, and they're really great. So, I would love to go visit the south of the United States of America. So Texas is pretty cool. But there are, unfortunately, still people today that are still super ignorant, and just don't like people that don't look like them, I guess. So let's get into verse 1. I don't want to run no more, but I know that if I stop, I'll be another blank, headed to heaven, hanging with pack. These motherfuckers looking at me like I'm a slanger, making threats to my family. Dog, I'm in danger. Who do you call when these agents want you dead and they hit these penitentiaries and blanks make a pledge? So I dip and duck the feds. All my homies stuck out on indictments, caught up on the phone talking prices. Hello? 25 to life's the mandatory minimal. My whole community gets treated like they criminals. So he doesn't want to keep dodging the police, but thinks that if he doesn't stop, that they're going to get him and kill him off or whatever, 100%. And so they all think that they're selling drugs. And this is exactly this song came off of their album in 2005. This is the exact same story that that they're telling in NWA's Fuck the Police. So it's just this ongoing thing that just happens over and over and over again, and still is happening today, and probably, unfortunately, will continue to happen. Because assholes exist. And so they all think that they're selling drugs, but he's saying he's not, he's, and it's not him that's in trouble. They're just coming after him and his family, that's kind of what's going on. And normally one would call the police when somebody's being harassed by someone, but not in this case, because it's the police that are harassing him and causing his fear and his anxieties and stuff like that. And I think that this is like a super common thing for a lot of people, especially let's just say non-white people, because I don't necessarily think this is exclusively a black issue, although it is very strongly a black issue. But this definitely affects like anybody that is a minority, whether you are from Algeria or Argentina. Like there's like lots of places that, people, if you don't have pure white skin, then I don't know, I guess you're being followed by the police, I guess is what's going on. So they use people already to try to arrest him and to try and rat him out, or other people that they've arrested, that they use in their not confession, I guess, or whatever it is, their statements. They try to get names of other people that are involved in criminal activity and stuff like that to reduce their sentence. And it causes, nobody likes to snitch, right? And that's, very shady shit. You should not be snitching. But they're getting, they're going to get paid from it. They're going to get something out of it. And it's just basically to put another black man behind bars. They're saying that's kind of how they're feeling. It's like, you might get out free, but you're doing it at the cost of somebody else. Like somebody else is taking your place. And it's somebody that's, you should be, personally as a woman, I try to empower other women and I try not to knock them down. I try to, always try and see the good in people. And so I think that's the kind of thing that is the opposite of what's going on. He's screwing the people over that they should, be supporting. Yeah. So, and just sort of because of their behavior, it feels like the whole black population is living in these poor areas, and they are all seen as criminals to the police, which is not the truth at all. It's sort of they're victims of unfortunate circumstances a lot of the time. So let's keep going. Prior convictions getting motherfuckers hung, got a CI on the inside and everybody sung. Mothers and fathers separated from their sons. Households are broken, you couldn't hold your tongue. If it's yours, say it's yours, take the case, do your time. When you was out here getting money from it, everything was fine. Now you crying in your jail cell, stressing on the case. And the DA is at a blank every other day. I can see it in your face, in the middle of your soul. You in question of your manhood, homie. Keep the code. So I think at the beginning he's talking about this 3-strike rule. And I also believe that in Texas, still currently, they have the death penalty. So that could explain why he's talking about, kind of the 3 strikes. If you commit 3 offenses, then you, I guess, go to jail for life. Or if one of those, I guess, maybe was a severe charge, then you can be hung in Texas. So what are your thoughts on that, actually? Are you guys in support of what is it called, like the death penalty, I guess, or lethal injection or hanging? Does it matter how a person is killed when they have the death penalty, the electric chair, or or all these different ways that you can die? Do you think that there's one that's better than the other, or do you think it should just be completely abolished, or are you for it? I'd love to hear your opinions on that. But I imagine living and suffering of somebody, if they did something bad, unless they're a psychopath and they just have no feelings. But I think that the suffering of the crimes that you've done is enough. I think that's my opinion, but I can definitely see how lots of people want criminals dead, because, especially if it affected something very public or somebody that was close to you. You're obviously going to have a skewed vision a little bit in cases like that, and I don't blame you at all. But anyways, got a CI, and I'm assuming that means a criminal investigator, and how sort of like they're maybe like sneaking into jails and kind of and like either way, I mean, like this is essentially like a snitch. It's kind of going in and trying to get people to talk, or somebody that's like looking for people who are looking for snitches, I guess. But snitches get stitches, so don't do that. And again, it's usually black guys that they're putting into jail. And I would have to look into the reality of, or like the statistics, I guess, of black women in jail compared to black men. I'm not sure, like, if that, I mean, I'm sure that there's obviously, like, a difference, but I just wanted to know, like, what the discrimination is. Like, do black women feel more discriminated against by police than black men? Although, in my opinion, I feel like it's the other way. I feel like black men, particularly, are targeted by police. But it would be interesting to know some more, like, statistics and, like, facts and, like, data about that. Yeah, so... and they are keeping their parents from seeing their sons, which was the case of the Central Park Five, as an example, like how they kept these young boys away from their parents so that they could kind of poke and prod and make them confess to something that they hadn't done. Yeah, and actually I donated to a correctional facility after seeing that show. Yeah, and so I'm definitely trying to do my part in bringing people together. So when a young person ends up in jail, and it can cause like issues for the family and cause like stress, and can often lead to divorce and separation. It causes the parents to kind of bicker and get angry at each other for whatever. And just because it's really just all too hard to deal with. So it's not just like one person that gets affected, it's a whole family and then essentially a whole community. So it's bigger than just what you think it looks like. I'm sure it's bigger even than that. It could be statewide, it just depends on like exactly what you're going to jail for, I guess. So yeah, like if you get, and then he says basically if you get caught, like own up to it and don't get somebody else in trouble, basically, just because you're in trouble. Like don't be that person. Like don't, if you did something, admit to it and suffer the consequences yourself. Don't bring anybody else in with you. And he says also too, like when you were free and successful, like that was life, but like shit's a lot scarier and real in prison when like, the consequences are all around you basically. And then the district attorney is always around asking questions and trying to get you to talk and confess and whatever. And it's very stressful. And they, he's kind of saying like, we get it. It's stressful, but act strong, be a man, don't squeal, keep the code. And that's the G code. So let's check out the chorus. And the chorus, of course, is... We don't talk to police. We don't make a peace bond. We don't talk to police. We don't trust in the judicial system. We shoot guns. We rely on the streets. We do battle in the hood. We rely on these streets, dog. I was born in the G code, embedded in my blood. We don't talk to police. We don't make a peace bond. Said we don't talk to police. We ain't trusting in the judicial system. We shoot guns. We rely on the streets. We do battle in the hood. Yeah, we rely on these streets, dog. I was born in the G code, embedded in my blood. So basically the rules are clear. Don't talk to cops. They don't trust in them. Don't make any deals with them to get out or have like a better or a lesser sentence. Like it's not worth it. Like they're basically like all the police are all like trying to get something out of you, and they're going to hurt you, they're gonna lie, they're gonna say whatever, and basically like they're saying like police can't be trusted, and they would rather battle it out in the streets with guns and have a shootout than have to deal with police and like all of like that kind of nonsense, and like they're feeling like safe, like, or like I guess so, safe, and like that they're ruling the streets and that's their turf, and like they don't necessarily comply with what the police want. Like maybe like they're like, we run it over here. Police, you can go do your stuff over there. We'll take care of stuff here. If shit gets real, we'll just shoot. Like they're just gonna shoot each other, and that's gonna be that, because probably they're like, well, we'd rather somebody die than have to suffer at the hands of the police or whatever else. Maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to like think of it positively, I guess. And honestly, I'm not surprised that these people, or like, you know, that there are people that want to like fight back, because when have the police been nice to black people? Like, obviously there's individual circumstances, and yes, there, you know, not everybody's an asshole, and not all the police are terrible people, but it's very prevalent. And I think like the realities of it is that, you know, as much as, you know, even if there were nice police officers, or are nice police officers, I think that just like the vision and the image and the like the fear that's like instilled in people, again, especially black people, I'm sure that like it's like that's embedded in them, the fear of the police. Like, you know, if somebody's, you know, about my age or so, like, then, you know, they've grown up in this time. Actually, even like, what am I talking about? Like, way even older, like in like the 60s and 70s and 50s and 40s, like all the way, like, black people in America have been like persecuted since they like were brought here. And I don't know, it's just crazy to think about it. And then it's just that they're still being targeted, and this is just like an ongoing issue, and it just never gets solved. And yeah, at some point it's gonna go too far and shit's gonna hit the fan for real. So that's my opinion. So verse 2. Okay, see, I be on some street shit. Don't talk to the police. I won't accept a visit from agents who want to see if I got shit to say about a blank case. I'm a motherfucking blank through and through. Iron Gate, Noah Blank caught a case, and he took his 25, sat it out on appeal, and gave him back that time. A soldier in his mind and his actions said the same. Told a cracker, tell your mammy, suck his dick, 'cause he with James. So basically he plays by the streets again, and he doesn't talk to the police. And even when he's like in jail or whatever, he is not accepting visits from the police, because he's like, I don't really give a shit what they have to say to me. And especially like if they are coming and trying to get him to rat people out. Like, you know, I feel like if you know other criminals and you were brought to jail, you're like, oh shit, okay, so you know who they're probably going to try and target you with, or like try and get information from, if they've done their job. So like that's kind of an interesting thing. It's like you kind of know who they're expecting you to rat out, I think, but I haven't been to jail, so I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, that's what I would assume. I mean, that's how it works in like high school, when they try to like bring you to like the principal's office and trying to get you to like rat other people out. I feel like I've been in that situation, and I'm like, no. So yeah, and then he also talks about, you know, like somebody who went to jail, and, you know, he did his time in exchange for not telling, you know, instead of exchanging information to the police. And he thinks the guy's great, you know, mentally and physically, like he did the right thing, and kind of, you know, sees him as brave, like as a soldier, as somebody, you know, kind of like a warrior almost. And yeah, and so he would rather sit in jail for 25 years than to rat people out, and like have his reputation and have people, you know, ruined, or have other people suffer because of what he got caught doing, I guess. My opinion, again. So, ain't no motherfucking game. We been living this for real. When the government is working, real blanks never squeal. Right here, the truth revealed. Troy, you a mouse. Yeah, you rapping, but the homie little pots can't get out. Blanks hit the pen. Blanks, they hit the pen. They get charged, then get out on a Rule 25. He informing the cops. You hear it in his voice. I done listened to the tapes. Now you showing up in court testifying for the state. So this isn't a joke or for show, like this is their real lives. Like this is circumstances that they can speak of because they have been witness to or have been involved in, or first-hand experience, not first-class experience. So whenever the man, like, aka the government, is involved or like whatever, they are opposed to the government and don't disclose like any information to them. So it seems like they're pretty like anti-establishment. which is interesting. And according to Genius, I want to just put this in, the Troy guy that they're mentioning is from Texas as well, and him and Scarface had a beef. That's what I found out about whoever Troy was. And guys go into jail, and they come out right away, and he refers to Rule 35, and I had to look that up. And I think that that's basically like if you snitch, they'll reward you, which is what some choose to do. They'll reward you with like, you know, a lighter sentence, or, you know, completely like you can just go, like walk out of jail. Well, maybe not like walk out of jail after like they've been sentenced, but like something like, you know, you would spend less time there, or that's what they would tell you until whatever. And then if somebody finds out that you ratted them out while you're in jail, you may not ever get out of jail, if you know what I mean. So you can hear basically like how guilty he is and like how he lied. He's kind of talking about this guy because he listened to the police tapes, the recordings of his confessions. Again, which is you're putting your freedom at the cost of somebody else, which is pretty selfish. But like, I mean, obviously, like if you didn't do it, like maybe, but then like why? I don't know why you would rat somebody out. I don't know. Yeah, and so like that sucks, and like that's some bullshit if I ever heard it. So that's what I think about that. And then we have the chorus again. I'm not gonna go through it again. It's exactly the same thing. And then verse 3. I'm knowing all the scams, all the tricks to the trade. Know a blank trying to get clean and you get in the way. Know a blank trying to get green and you stick out the bait. Cause a blank like a dope fiend can't rehabilitate. Still, we stick into the G code. We playing by the rules. We don't fuck around with new blanks cause new blanks is fools. We don't photograph the homies that'll catch a blank up on a picture. You a victim. Bottom line, blank fucked. So he knows all of the ways that cops will try to like manipulate you and set them up a little bit, and he's like not falling for any of it. He's clearly like, you know, a very suspicious guy, with good reason maybe. You know, if this is like their real life, then it makes sense. And the cops know, you know, like the guy's records, so they can use that to like their advantage, which is unfortunate, you know, such as if they had like a drug habit or something like that. And then like even through shit like that, like you still choose to use the G code because like that's like, you know, like you know, G unit, whatever the G stands for. Like I think it's just like the gang code, ghetto code. I don't know. I'm just gonna look that up. Yeah, I feel like it's gangster. I'm just getting information and more people just kind of saying like, it's where you don't snitch on people, you know, but I'm not really seeing anything necessarily that tells me that it's gang or ghetto, but I assume, I don't know, I'm going to assume it's gang. But so yeah, either way, you stick to the G code, and they don't trust like any new people in their crews. You know, they have their old school crew and like their friends, and like that's it, because you know a new person could just be an undercover cop or somebody that you don't necessarily trust. Like the people who they're involved with, like it sounds like they could leave their lives in their hands and like know that they would be well taken care of. Whereas, you know, maybe a new person wouldn't have that same bond and same trust and same brotherhood as the rest of these guys, because you can just never tell. And then he also talks about nothing on camera. No pictures, no videos, no nothing. Classic, makes sense, which is smart. Not like those idiots that get themselves arrested posting like their criminal activity on like social media or whatever, like, or live streaming it. Like, how stupid is that? Like, no. And then basically they say like, listen, if there's a picture of you doing some stupid shit, the cops will use that against you. Like somebody will get that into like the hands of the police, and they will use that as evidence for whatever they want. So that's very important. Don't go flashing around stuff. I feel like you should make sure that people like don't have their phones out sneaking pictures. It's like a movie theater at like a like a first time like airing of a movie or something like that, where you don't want everybody to like film it. Anyways, let's keep going. Only connect the real, staying down with the true. I got love for you, Aunt. You're a real blank spook. My blank spoony G. I can only name a few, but there's a thousand motherfuckers in the pen, bulletproof. So this one here's for you. I'ma rep it till I die. Fuck a 5K1. Check his PSI. Send his ass to the top if he says he sit at home. He a motherfucking snitch. Snitching blanks need this song. So they only discuss real business in person, just to make sure that you are legit. You're not like, a scammer. Nobody's like tapping your phone or whatever. And just sort of like names out like their friends like in jail, and how there's so many unnecessarily black people in jail, and how he's going to keep telling the story, and how it's important for people to understand like the consequences of their actions and what happens, and like the police brutality, and just like a million other things that are involved in this. And then the 5K1 is one of the sentences, or the sentencing rules, I believe, like the official like rule book for like how to sentence people. And it's basically like you will get less time in jail if you give police some like good information on somebody else, something that they can like incriminate them with. Again, a snitch. A PSI is a report that can be that can be taken into court and shown, but if it's like filled out, then this is probably like the proof that this guy's like a snitch. So it's sort of like if you actually like, if you say something and it's not recorded in any way, like maybe it's just like, okay, yeah, they told you, but they just made some shit up. But if you sign to like a whole like story about someone, or the truth, whatever it is, and they have that piece of paper that they can like tangibly like hold and testify with, that's proof, because you have your signature on that you ratted somebody out and that you snitched on somebody else, and that's your death sentence basically. So that's what that is. And if a snitch is found out, you should probably show him that it was probably more worth it for him to have just kept his mouth shut and spent his time in jail. Otherwise, he's going to just get destroyed or killed, or his family's going to get hurt, or other terrible things are going to happen. So that's a reminder for the snitches. And that's exactly what the song is created for, just to remind them of that. And again, like kind of like how distrusting they are of like the whole judicial system and the police and, the government and everybody who has like the power to like put everybody in jail or to cause them, a lot of issues or suffering and, everything else, and how they just manipulate them, and how they maybe are seen sometimes as good guys and aren't always necessarily the good guys. And not for everybody. Like, maybe one police officer is an amazing police officer, but he just doesn't really like black people. And so he goes after them, but all the white people think that he's just great. So that's, something that could happen too. And that's obviously discrimination. So, yeah. And then we have the chorus again, and then the outro, which is, we don't talk to police. We rely on these streets, dog. Said we don't talk to police. Yeah, we rely on these streets, dog. And that's pretty much it. They rely on the streets. Like, that's what keeps them out of jail, out of trouble, and out of snitching, I guess. That they just live their life, and that's it. So that's pretty much it. That's the whole song. There's a lot in there to kind of like unpack, and there's a lot of anger, and like this isn't like a unique story, unfortunately. This is something that a lot of people have spoken about and continue to speak about, is discrimination and police brutality, and just like that kind of power tripping that a lot of police tend to. I don't know if it's like a power trip, or like, because we hear about like old, police officers who have been in the force for, 35 years, and then we hear of like a brand new rookie who like ended up like doing something terrible. So I don't really know what it is. I think it's just you put a gun in someone's hand, and I think bad things are going to happen. my opinion. Again, I'm Canadian, so what can I say? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. And if there are any songs that you would like to see me break down, definitely leave those down below in the comments. I will always check those out. And, from time to time, I will pick out one of those. It's always fun. I do enjoy making you guys happy. I'm not trying to bring misery to the world. So thank you for watching, and thank you to our patrons, Lindell Williams, DJ Black Hurricane, Chris Prado, Ismail Gadamsi, and Jonathan Barnes. I just didn't want to forget anybody. So thank you guys so much, as usual. And you can check me out on Twitter. It's at YLF over there, and on Instagram at Your Lady Friend Bonnie. So I do that, and I think we also have a Discord, and we've got a lot of little things that we're kind of working on in the background. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys next time. So see you next time. Bye.